Welcome to the Empowered Women Life Leaders podcast. I'm your host, Karen Bashford. This podcast is for every woman who has ever felt limited by her past, silenced by trauma, or held back by society's expectations. Each week, we will share powerful stories, expert insights, and practical tools to help you become the leader of your own life. Hello and welcome to today's podcast. I'm your host, Karen Bashford. Today's subject is the power of surrendering and allowing. So why have I chosen this subject? One of the things that I realized, learned, and had to accept that going through my nervous breakdown meant I had to totally and absolutely surrender all control. I had no ability to be able to control my life. That can be a scary place. However, at the time, I felt it was necessary. I felt that if I did not surrender, I would simply continue in the place of being in pain, out of control, because it's an absolute fallacy to think you're in control when your emotions are shot to pieces. Life is not going as you want it to. And you keep saying to yourself, I'm okay, when in fact you're not. So surrendering meant I literally just had to let go. Now, the difference between surrendering and allowing are two separate things. Surrendering means you just have to let go. There's nothing you can do. You just have to let life continue. Let the processes that you've put in place continue, even though you're not capable of making a sound decision. Everything that's happening to you is there for a purpose. And I very much believe that we live life with a purpose and that life happens with a purpose, whether we like it or not. So, what's the difference between surrendering and allowing? Allowing means that we are open to receiving whatever we need to receive, but only through letting go of the need to totally control, but still be in control, which is slightly contradictory. If you think about it, how can you let go of control but still be in control? Letting go of control means that basically you know you have to take action. You have an idea of what those actions are going to be. However, in allowing, you open yourself up to moving beyond your own thinking, which we're very good at, but actually does not necessarily serve us. We need to accept that there's something higher than ourselves that can guide and support us to make the right decision, the right choice. And we don't necessarily need to know what they are until we need to. I'll give you an example of what I mean. When I totally surrendered and just let the universe take over and just went with the flow of whatever had to happen, I was given so many words of guidance, of support, of people stepping up and helping me. Not that I knew them necessarily. It was just something somebody said or something that I saw, or something that arrived, perhaps in the post, or arrived in my email. But there were always something that let me keep going without necessarily being in control. So that meant that I could contact people who were able to help me, or who had words that could support what I needed to do. Especially when it comes to my mum and coping with my mum, who I was still having to deal with on a daily basis, despite going through a nervous breakdown where I spent an awful lot of time crying. That in itself was letting go and allowing what had to happen to happen. So I knew I had to speak to my mum every day. I knew I had to go and see her. But that didn't mean to say that I was necessarily willing to do so, wanted to do so, or even had the strength to do so. But somehow or other, I did it. I spoke to her. But the strange thing was, in just letting go and allowing whatever had to happen, it became easier to actually speak to my mum, to physically go and see her and to spend time with her. It was almost as if somebody was helping, somebody was giving a guiding hand and was providing the necessary energy, ability, and when you think about it, motivation to get me to do it. And yet I didn't feel that it was something I had any control over. It was just what it was. That is absolute surrender. And in surrendering, I was open to receiving. And once I started to get better, I continued to be guided, to be supported in ways that I wasn't necessarily conscious of, but things were just falling into place, which was wonderful as far as I was concerned. Where allowing is, as I said, it's about taking actions. It's knowing that you've got to take those actions. You have a conscious ability to make those decisions that you need to make. But also there is an element of that external guidance, the guidance that's far greater than you are, that taps into universal knowledge and wisdom and shares that with you. And in doing so, you make more inspired decisions. You go beyond your own thinking. You actually become the leader of your life. You're open to receiving, but you're also open to giving. But giving that doesn't require you to be thinking constantly. Giving is allowing. It's giving you that opportunity to say to somebody, I can help you with this. But no, there is a limit to what you can do. And yet you do that and the results are as if you had no limitation. In allowing, things come to you that support you, that help you, but you don't necessarily know that they're there. They just seem to suddenly appear, but you're still taking the actions. You're still following your natural processes, your ability to communicate, your willingness to deal with life. It's still in place, but there's an extra element to it. That element goes beyond your conscious thinking. And a bit like when you surrender, your unconscious mind and universal guidance takes over and allows things to happen in a way that you have no say at all. Allowing gives you that say, but that say is not purely your conscious mind. It's the unconscious mind that's stepping in. It's the universal guidance that's being given to you. It's that gut feeling that's within you that tells you this is right for me or this is wrong for me. When you listen and allow, you change the outcomes you can achieve. So turning that on its head, if you consider allowing is like pouring hot water on tea. Pouring the water allows the flavour, the colour to come out of that tea. And that's what you're doing when you allow. The information, the knowledge, the wisdom, the certainty that is within you comes out. So you don't have doubts. You don't question yourself. You know that whatever you're going to be doing is right for you. And the more you practice allowing, the more life becomes in flow. The more you're willing to surrender and let the universe guide you fully, instead of assuming that you know what you need to do and what's going to be happening, you change your life as well. So combining the surrender and allowing, it's like you're opening up Pandora's box. And within Pandora's box, there's so much promise of what could be. And that is how you need to be living your life. That doesn't mean to say you're not going to take action. That doesn't mean to say that you're not going to make a decision. It simply means that when you do make that decision, it's based on what is beyond your own thinking. At the end of my time of surrendering fully, I actually spent time reviewing what was in place for me, for my business, for my life. And I'm the first to admit that there wasn't much that I felt I could change at the time. But that's not true. In surrendering, things were happening already that I wasn't aware of. And that allowed me to take decisions that perhaps I would have hesitated to take, to explore what was possible. And often that possible originally felt impossible. I let go of preconceived ideas about myself, about what I could and couldn't do, about timeframes that things could happen in. Because when you surrender, when you allow, you're actually opening yourself up to a time that doesn't have restrictions. I realized a few days ago that we say time heals. I would disagree with that. Time gives you space. It's the actions you take that actually heal you. So time just gives you the opportunity to consider other things, considering what's going to suit you, considering what you've been tolerating, considering what you've continued to do that's beyond its time. Time gives you that opportunity just as much as surrendering gives you that opportunity to just stop thinking and start listening to your internal wisdom, to universal wisdom, and let things come to you as they need to. Just as allowing motivates you to be able to make decisions that are going to serve you based on what you're aware of, rather than what you're thinking. So look at your life. Where in your life are you tolerating? Where are you failing to be the leader of your own life? What are you doing that's hurting you or supporting you? What do you believe you can achieve or can't achieve? Who are you letting in and having a say about your life? What if you could just let yourself have that say, choosing what's right for you based on what you feel on an energetic level in your body, but also what feels right intuitively. We all have the choice of how we live life, regardless of what's going on in your life at the moment, regardless of the pain you've experienced. You still have a choice whether to surrender and allow, or whether to just let your own mind restrict you to what it already knows and what society expects and what family and other people expect of you. Surrender means that you get more of a say in your life. Allowing means that you actually get to take the decisions you want to take. So on that note, I would say to you, however many years you have left to live, however much time there is, you can ask yourself, is this the life I want to lead? Or do I want to lead my own life? Like surrendering and allowing is two separate things. That's it for this week. Have a great week, and I look forward to speaking with you again.